Welcome to Tap Into Data, the happy hour podcast. How are we doing today?
Fantastic, boys. How you
Great,
doing?
Jared. How about yourself?
Doing great. We have an awesome guest, Gurmeet, with us today, and a drink of choice. So, Gurmeet, if you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you chose to drink today.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy to be here on this Friday afternoon. Drink of choice. So it's a concoction. And I'll have to admit, so it's tequila reposado. Did I say that correctly? I'm not a tequila drinker. I just know it tastes fucking good.
Sounds right.
Close enough.
Yeah. But yeah, I know. So a buddy of mine introduced me to it. I'm drinking it, and then on the flip side, I'm like, I got to work after this for a couple hours still, right? So I go to him. I was like, make me a refreshing drink that's not going to make me crash. I still have 2 hours to work. Complete contextual awareness, right? Prompt engineering 101. So gave me this drink. Yeah, grapefruit, fucking lime water, and fresh lime and tequila, 2 ounces. That's it, man. Clean. It's good. And it's going to keep me going for the next few hours. That's for sure.
That's
There you go.
awesome. I was trying to find tequila first thing this morning after dropping the kids off from at school, and it was like impossible to find. So I just settled with some gin. So
All right.
somewhat similar, but yeah, it should allow me to get some work done later as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I
The
got
Tap Into Data.
tequila, which is my favorite of all time. So as soon as I saw you pick that, I was very pleased to go make a tequila drink. And then I did like a blackberry sparkling water again because I have things to do after this. So it's like perfect, like a nice little tequila drink mid afternoon.
Yeah.
Be good.
Yeah. That's Friday. We're allowed to.
Well, boys, cheers to our first
Cheers,
podcast,
gentlemen.
first guest on the
podcast.
show. So Tap Into Data.
Appreciate
Here we
it.
go. Yeah. So yeah, Gurmeet, tell us a little bit about yourself. Obviously, Jared and I know you. I've known you since 2018.
Yeah.
But yeah, for those who are going to watch this, and we know that we have a few lined up because they've been waiting forever for our first recording. So
Yeah.
Not so patiently.
Everyone's shouting for it. Yeah, I mean, the quick one-liner, I guess, my world, it's been blue collar to clean energy entrepreneur. That'll like summarize the last probably 20 years of my career, I'd say. Kind of in a nutshell. Big into data now, obviously. Love having good drinks while talking about data. We've been to a bunch of conferences together where we get into those kind of conversations. So they're right up my alley here today. But yeah, I mean, our business today, we what I like to say is we take the robot out of the human. So every human's got robotic movements. We just don't know it. It's all those things that we do repetitively that are rule based. Every week, click this button on the ERP, export this report, and everyone does it. At the end of every financial quarter, for example, because they got to pull some dumb report out of the ERP system. So robotic movements, we get rid of them, we eliminate them, we automate them. That's what the business does a lot about today. But I mean, this is Tap Into Data, so it's the first episode. We got to fucking talk about why. Why is data even relevant? You know what I mean? So I'll kind of share just a real brief story about the why, and then we can kind of dive into whatever we want to get into right after that. But like I guess the way it happened to me is all subconscious, right? I had to get laid off a bunch of times to figure out, okay, I need to work on my own and do this shit. I got kicked to the curb a few times. I was like, this is not working for me. But it started in high school, and the reason why I want to say this is like we had report cards, so that was our feedback system, right? Imagine going to school without a report card. How the fuck do you know? How do you know you're doing good or bad? You have no idea, right? Teacher might give you a thumbs up, thumbs down. These days, it's a completely different story, but we won't go there. So that was my feedback system. Like in high school, my dad was an immigrant from India, real strict, stubborn dude, right? Love him to death, and he did what he did, but because he worked so much, I'd bring a report card home, and that was his only feedback system to see how well I was doing, and it was the grades, right? And those grades obviously changed depending on where they were. It drove behavior, right? So, true story. I wasn't doing well. I was just focused on basketball and football, hockey, all the things that some guys do in high school. But I wasn't doing well. I got the report card, brought it home. My dad goes, "Get in the car with me." I'm like, "Okay, where are we going?" Gets me in the car, drives me to sign up for the army. He's like, "If you don't turn this around, if you don't flip the script on what you're doing here, you're going to end up working here." And he brought me right into the armories, right up to the registration table, and that's when he looked at me and gave me that speech. He's like, "We are an inch away now from you signing for registering for the military." I was like, "No fucking way. It's not for me. I'm not doing it." But then it like something like subconsciously tattooed in my brain from that point forward. And I was like 60 years old when this happened. And I don't know, I went on my career and that just resonated with me. So it's like, why do we need data? Data is our feedback system. How do you do anything without it? We used it in high school, college, university. The highest level athletes, the highest performing individuals on the planet all have feedback. But for some reason, our clients, when you go into a company, it's all gone. It's like, no, you just do this. You just got to work this metric, this KPI, get your shit done. We're not gonna give you any feedback, right? So it's like, no, it's more than just like data is needed. We're humans. We absolutely fucking need it to tell us where to turn left, when to turn right. But for some
And
reason, the leaders and businesses don't see it that way. It's weird, right?
And then once a project has an overrun on budget, they ask you why things went askew, right? It's like, why are we not ahead of this?
Yeah, where was your report card?
Yeah.
That's
right.
simple.
Yeah,
It's
where's your
simple.
KPI, right? Where are those metrics? Yeah, where are
Yeah,
those weekly, daily, real time? Yeah.
yeah. So I want the audience to kind of just get that clear in their head. Like we've needed this stuff since we were in grade in kindergarten. Nothing really has ever changed. It's just the industry doesn't adopt the same principles the education system did to keep people on track, which is to me is mind blowing. It seems to be simple. Do what you did there to guide people in a certain direction. Just keep doing it. Doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
an administrative assistant or a high performing CEO. Everyone needs feedback.
Right.
They need to be.
Yeah.
They need some sort of course correcting path. Rumble strips on
Yeah.
our highways for a fucking reason. So when you go off to the highway, it wakes you up to redirect you, right? Those are all control systems that just aren't in place, man. And I just still to this day, 80% of the world still operates like this in the industry. There's no data, they're reactive, and yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? You're in the same field with some of the stuff you guys do.
And I
Yeah.
like the
It's
analogy. Sorry, go ahead, Jared.
no, it's fascinating to me too, like how you talk about like to that analogy point. Maybe I'm gonna say the same thing, but like there's controls all around us, right? Like I have an F-150 that drives itself.
Yeah.
And if I look away from the road, it's beeping at me, right? It'll shake the wheel or it'll tap the brakes. Like there are these things that are all around us that still give us that reassurance or that reminder or that, hey, how you doing? You're not looking at the road. What the hell are you looking at? But somehow, like in our jobs or in these like giant, even, I mean, in most cases, giant companies, you're
Yeah.
not seeing that same reflection of whether it's positive reinforcement, whether it's reassurance, whether it's correcting for incorrect behavior or not meeting expectations. Like it doesn't exist in that job context, even though it exists everywhere else in our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to that analogy on the rumble strips, right? That's immediate feedback on your driving behavior.
Right.
So when it comes to data and like DDB consultants and Smartsheet and other platforms you're using, some of the stuff we saw last week when we were in that conference, that networking session together, is like there were some big time developers and players in the game in that room, and just showing them what you're capable of doing was just like, whoa, that's actually available in the industry. Like I can actually take my business, either utilize it and run it through an AI platform, or use a workflow management tool that provides you real time information on your business. I can make sound decisions, not one, reducing my FTE headcount, right,
Mm-hmm.
which is a massive thing right now when it comes to lack of resources or skilled resources in the industries. But two is, if I have a project that's going to start tomorrow, today I already know what's going to happen. I think that's what you bring to the industry, specifically our relationship around renewable
Yeah.
projects and
Yeah.
as we look at others. So yeah, do you mind touching just, what is DDB Consultants doing today? In conjunction, obviously, with Smartsheets and some other AI platforms.
Yeah. So, Smartsheet. So AI's got the big buzz right now, but it's everyone wants to get AI in place. So there's a big difference, right? There's AI, agentic workflows that can be constructed and used to optimize a process, but then there's just automations, right? There's a very distinct difference between the two, and it's got to be clear to the audience here that it's still today, 2026, automations is still 80% of low hanging fruit. It's not AI, right? Because the maturity AI still has a couple of years of maturity, and Adam, you've seen some of the things that we've been doing so far with it internally. So first, you want to segment the two types of technologies where what roles they play. AI can be your supercharger, your hyper analysis tool. It can be a scenario planning tool. It can take care of that non-value added research I do constant research with tools like Perplexity and Manus to expedite, an idea to a particular deliverable, right? So when you have that line from, here's my idea, here's what I want to get done, especially when the output is a PDF, a PowerPoint, a research paper, that is strictly kind of an AI type play. If you want to manage projects and portfolios, you want to manage costs, you want to manage, budget, resources, that's Smartsheet's world, right? That's that work execution system. So where Smartsheet lands is for clients is every client out there or organization or anyone listening to the podcast here, you've got systems in your business that run certain parts of it that are called compliance tools. Your ERP, a CRM, a HRIS system. So again, for the audience, CRM is for sales, HRIS is human resources. You've got your operational system, scheduling tools, all that kind of stuff that runs your business. But then everyone in every business, somewhere along the way, lands in a Microsoft Excel process. Those systems reach their limits and then they move into Excel. When you're in Excel world, you're disconnected, you're static, you can't do anything. A lot of the large enterprise companies today are being pushed to move away from it for that very reason, because insights are needed, the speed, lead time to value is required. The ability to make a decision on a dime is a competitive differentiator right now, and everyone should be thinking about it. So that's where Smartsheet comes in. It becomes that layer of execution where all that data that's sat statically disconnected doesn't drive any insights in Excel gets moved into a platform like Smartsheet that's real time, collaborative, and the beauty of it is internal and external stakeholder management. And now I'll narrow in on an example that I kind of put Smartsheet in its place in the business. Now the use case kind of, in our energy space, this is the industry that we're all in. It's obviously booming and we want to help those clients out there. So case example, and I'm a former site manager, guys, right? Like I'm speaking from, boots on the ground, running profit and loss for multiple contracts when I worked for a large enterprise O&M back in the day. So, these are use cases I solved when I was at that organization and that we still continue to solve 8 years down the road. So it's telling me that the industry has not caught up, right? We're still solving the same problems. So to your point, Adam, like how does it directly impact some of the people listening today? It's like if you running projects inside of Smartsheet, whether it's construction, O&M, it's annual maintenances, services, major components, I don't care what it is. You need a platform that can allow the entire third-party network that you work with to feed data into it for cost control. Number one, right? Every job has a purchase order. And oftentimes in our industry, that purchase order will break before anybody knows it, because you can't get invoiced fast enough, you can't get the data fast enough, you can't seek approval fast. It just can't do it, right? And we all understand the blade industry very deeply. That's one scope that is almost next to impossible to manage as a P&L leader, and I know that firsthand. So where Smartsheet does a beautiful job in those types of examples is you could have the project Smartsheet set up to execute your projects, your project plan is in place. You will have all your reporting in the same platform, the data collection. So anytime someone goes on site to do a job, that form that we give those techs on site is the most valuable form and the most valuable data, because in any process that you want to capture the data at the moment it is born, right? Like this, I'm talking like the nanosecond that shit gets made. So the field tech has done their job for the day. At the end of the day, they submit their pod, their plan of day, their work order, their documents. So that's the moment it's created. Before that, it's in the guy's head, right? So once it gets transferred to some piece of electronics, not paper, no one should be working on paper right now. It's crazy if you are. It's got to be on some sort of document. And what happens is when it goes into Excel, it stays there. It doesn't go anywhere else. When it goes into Smartsheet, that labor data, that project data, that milestone that you just completed, it triggers downstream effects. So that labor data comes into Smartsheet. We have our contract in Smartsheet. Now we're reconciling our invoice in real time, right? So this third party submitting a form, we know their labor rate, we know how many days are on site, we know their delay days, standby days, their weather days. It's all in Smartsheet. So now we're building the invoice in real time as the job moves forward. And at the same time, you're reporting on a dashboard. So I've not done nothing. I've given a technician a web form. I've constructed a system in Smartsheet to collect the data, reconcile for me automatically, and report out without me doing anything, just on that form data coming in. So that's the power of Smartsheet. We collect the data once, and we amplify it. So it can go to sales, it goes to finance, it can go back to the operations team, but you capture it once and you deliver it. There should be no more touches after that. So that's really the true power of it is capturing the data in real time, doing the analysis and reconciliation to give you those real time insights. So now I can call my finance leader and say, hey, we're 80% complete, or no, we're 50% complete the project. We're 90% of our PO. We're screwed. So I can go reach out and get that conversation started months before. Not like some clients where they wait until the job is done and they're over by $250,000. And now everyone's fighting to get paid because now the site manager can't approve it or get it approved because he lost track, and the third party guy is going to be stuck. Now he's not going to get paid because now there's an issue. So we want to keep cash moving in the industry, man. It's a thriving industry. There's a lot of cool players in it, and the platform itself just allows everyone to execute kind of in that seamless environment that doesn't end up in a argument after every invoice, which is really what happens a lot of times. No, the crane didn't lift that day, or the wind speed wasn't that day. It's just so many delays. Oh, it didn't rain that day. Oh no, the dew point was here, right? It just becomes all conversation and no one tracks it. But if we track it, manage it, you effectively never have to have those conversations. So
And you touch on a good one, blades, right? The three of us are
mm-hmm.
well versed in wind turbine blades, and going to the overrun of a repair, right? Finding out a week later or 2 weeks later that that budget or that PO was exhausted way before the work is done. Then now you have to wait for a change order execution and everything else that goes along with the approval process. Now you could be sitting 1 to 2 weeks waiting to finish off that repair, which is now downtime to the client. And no one really wants to talk about O&M expenditures in relation to CapEx.
Yeah.
But having that where it's like, okay, we did work, we finished it at 5 o'clock. Tomorrow morning, the key decision makers have insight as to their business. They know exactly where they're sitting, and then they make that decision. Okay, we've now completed that one critical damage. Is there enough money to move on to the next one? And you'll know almost in real time, right? Nothing, obviously, in the industries we work in is real time, but this gets as close as you possibly can from a business perspective. So,
yeah, and a good test for the audience, if you want to know you're running a good system, honestly, if you could tell me the status of your business in less than 100 seconds, I don't care where you got to go. But if you have a source or something that tells you that story less than 100 seconds, you should start thinking about that. I can't do it. I can't, it takes me 15 minutes to go to 8 different systems. Then you got to stop and be like, all right, I didn't meet the 100-second rule. So we got to figure this out.
now is it true with your 3-click rule? Should be able to get anywhere within 3 clicks?
That's always the goal, right? It's less than 3 clicks, you should get the answer. And Smartsheet has the drill down capability to do that. Dashboard level view for an executive, red, yellow, green metrics. If it's red, click on the red, it drives you down into a report. The report gives you more details. And if you're not happy with that and you want to do some forensics, click on the report, we'll send you to the raw data. And you can look at it yourself if you don't trust it. And guess what? The raw data is integrated with your ERP system. So it's coming from your system of record anyways, right? So it's that simple. It's just we make things complicated. We're humans. That's just what we do. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's simple, it's there's a lot of questions around it. So we have a couple minutes here left, but the other aspect of this is like taking the information that's been digested, absorbed into Smartsheet, utilizing AI to now see what your business is, how its performance. That was the other thing we kind of I don't know, we had like a brainwave over a few weeks ago.
Yeah, so it's a good topic to bring up, right? So Smartsheet has its place and I love it. But where I like the AI tools, when you're thinking about AI, there's 3 buckets really. There's agentic, research, and then conversational, right? So when I get up in the morning, I prioritize my day based on those 3 buckets. Okay, these things actually have to give me some sort of output. It's a report, it's a PDF, it's a PowerPoint, email reply to somebody. I have my research topics where if I'm doing a proposal or I'm sales, I use shit out of Perplexity Max Research to find my ICPs all the time. It sends me a report every week automatically based on Ontario's that align with either government funding or where federal funding is going or where the industry conferences are going, as an example. But it's then conversational is just your standard ChatGPT stuff, where you just want to know what you're gonna have for dinner tonight, kind of thing. But it's yeah, no, I get my meal plan from it now. It's it takes so much decision fatigue, right? Where, if you got it's a little bit of ADHD, decision fatigue takes a toll on you. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to minimize that decision fatigue with AI. But yeah, you take data from Smartsheet, any Excel document. I mean, that example Adam and I ran on last week is I exported a mock P&L for a wind farm that was living in Smartsheet that I just had as a template, and I exported it, dumped it into one of the tools, asked it to analyze it for me. It analyzed it, came back with some insights that I never would have picked up as a P&L leader. And then the beauty of it is like I just said to the AI, okay, this is great. I have a 30% cost margin on this P&L, but now I all of a sudden have to do a major component campaign. I got to change like 80 pitch motors. So I simulate that in the AI. I tell it that, and it completely adjusts my P&L to tell me what my cost margin is at the end of it. So from an analysis perspective, especially specific for any P&L leader, it's fantastic. I mean, I have to air it out there. Obviously, work within your company policy, procedure, security, and all that kind of stuff. Don't take my advice and start exporting your P&L data and throwing it in ChatGPT without organizational approval. So double check that, folks. But yeah, there's ways that you can just take this platform like Smartsheet as your primary management tool, and then you can hyper accelerate the data in the platform in these AI platforms. Industries are defaulting to Copilot because they trust Microsoft. So I don't use Copilot a whole lot these days, not yet, anyways. But yeah, no, it's a neat scenario. Scenario planning is probably the highest value thing I picked off when we talked a few weeks about them. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Fantastic hanging out with you guys as always. So we're going to be crossing paths like shortly, and because it's ACP, Houston will be the next time. The three of us will be getting together. Yeah. Yep. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Jared, as always. Cheers, boys.
Everybody.